Good afternoon. It is wonderful to see so many community action friends physically together in one place as we celebrate this year's annual meeting in person. If we haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Wayne Bars and I'm the president of the board at Community Action. As you are going to hear over the next hour, fighting poverty requires a multifaceted attack. A person who lives in poverty does not face one problem, they face many. We see it in our region and across the country. One contributor to poverty, like the loss of a job, often leads directly to another, like mental or physical health decline. Health decline can lead to drug addiction. Drug addiction can lead to homelessness. The problems layer and compound each other. The economic outcome of that layering often results in neighborhoods and entire communities of people living in poverty. And when poverty takes hold in a community, it's like an invasive weed with roots spreading in many directions. And without relentless attention and vigorous effort, it easily spreads to other neighborhoods, other communities. Community action of the Lehigh Valley is not like many community action agencies across the country. We do not attack one problem at a time. We attack all of the problems, all of the time. Racial and ethnic discrimination, hunger, deteriorated housing, limited access to education, lack of business capital, neighborhood blight. It's quite a lot, really. It's expensive, it's hard, and it's often underappreciated. I've been involved in Community Action's boards and activities for more than 20 years, including 8 years on this board and almost 3 as its president. And when you've been so deep inside a complex organization like Community Action, you can often lose sight of what you actually do as an organization. You get caught up in raising money or making sure it's spent effectively. You get deeply involved in making sure programs and people are managed well. Are we doing the right things? Are we doing them well? Are we measuring things? Are we reporting things properly? But the truth is that underneath all that organization and all those seemingly endless meetings and crisscrossing emails, and underneath all that structure is what we really do. We pull weeds and we plant flowers. We kill the weeds of poverty so that flowers of prosperity can grow. And today, at this gathering, with a spirit of gratitude, you will hear from some of the flowers who benefited from the weeding we've done and continue to do. We will take time to enjoy some of the beauty that all of your support and hard work have created. And speaking of flowers planted, it's my honor today to publicly announce that we have a new one. It's called the Allen Jennings Economic Justice Fund. Now, I know what you're thinking. Some days it was hard to think of Allen as a flower because of all of his thorns. And please don't let him know that I called him a rose. As we celebrate gratitude here today, we are glad to share some of ours for Allen and the type of organization he built over 40 years of dedication to fighting poverty. Allen was able to draw in supporters and partners from many parts of the political spectrum because of a singular theme that he repeated often. We don't do charity at Community Action, we do justice. He attracted partners because he created tools for people to solve their own problems and not programs that solve the problems for them. To keep this good work moving forward and to help ensure the fiscal stability of this agency, the board has decided to create the Allen Jennings Economic Justice Fund. This will be an endowed fund dedicated to supporting the agency and the work that Allen has championed over the course of his career. We are still finalizing some of the details, but if you have an interest in making a contribution or getting involved in supporting Allen's legacy, please reach out to Erin Delago. Her email is edalago@caclv.org, or you can call her at 484-893-1137. You'll be hearing much more about this from us in the near future. But before I give up the podium, and soon my term as president, I'd like to say thank you to my colleagues on the board. It has been a personal and professional pleasure working with you to hang on to the wheel of an organization like Community Action all these years. There is no board of directors I've ever seen that is more passionate and more engaged, and the community owes you all a debt of gratitude. It has been a year of dramatic change in the world at large, but especially inside Community Action, with new programs and new branding and many new faces at all levels of the organization. And it is now my happy honor to turn the podium over to one of those new faces, or maybe more of a familiar face in a new place. Please welcome the Executive Director of Community Action Lehigh Valley, Ms. Dawn Godshow.
Good afternoon. I'm grateful that you have all come out to support us as we venture along a new path with a new brand, a new vision, and new leadership. Thank you. Thank you also to our Fighting for Good sponsors, TD Bank and Prosperity Mortgage, and our Economic Opportunity sponsor, Lehigh Valley Health Network. This entire afternoon is dedicated to gratitude. I am grateful and proud to be a woman of color who is heading up one of the largest nonprofits in the Lehigh Valley. I am grateful that we fight injustices every day and that we have a staff of people who are like Cape Crusaders, always looking for a wrong to right. My greatest challenge is to get some of them, like Kamari, to learn how to sleep. Many of them like to email the next project or challenge in the middle of the night. Fighting injustice knows no time. Yes, it's been a rough year, but we do have much to be thankful for. It is because of the generosity of people like you that we are able to do what we do. Many of you are familiar with our work. Some of you are only familiar with some of our larger initiatives and programs. So while you continue to enjoy your meal, sit back and let us tell you more about the amazing work that we do, mostly because of your generosity that enables us to make it all happen. Generation Next is one of our newer initiatives. Conceived around 2018 at Easton Area High School, Gen Next is a program created to ensure that students of color, first-generation college students, and/or low-income students have increased access to opportunities that will further their education. The program helps students not only to get into college, but also to integrate into college life, and most importantly, to complete a post-secondary education. Rachel Griffith, owner of the Apollo Grill in Bethlehem, has committed donating 5% of food sales every Tuesday toward a scholarship for the Gen Next program. She connected with her friend Hassana Birdsong to help in the effort, and nearly 2 months after launching the fund, they raised $50,000. Here to tell you more, please welcome Hassana Birdsong and Stephanie Moki.
I'm Hassana Birdsong. By day, I run a company in Allentown called Dep Packaging, essentially to support my philanthropic activities. I'm also a volunteer mentor coordinator and the vice chair of the Generation Next Task Force. I've been a lifetime Lehigh Valley resident. I grew up in Easton and I moved all the way to Bethlehem. Growing up, I lived in public housing, we were on food stamps, and I had parents who discouraged going to college because of their religious beliefs. Fortunately, I had a teacher who saw some potential in me and encouraged me to start a Future Business Leaders of America program. I consider Rebecca Antolik my very first mentor. So fortunate to have her. She literally changed my life. 30 years ago, I graduated from Easton High School. I started but didn't finish college until May of this year. Over the years, I've had different mentors, professional mentors, mentors to help guide me as a parent, young mentors, older mentors. Mentorship has literally changed my life. In May of 2020, like many of you, I was literally at home feeling all the feels, as my kids say. Heartbreak, despair, disappointment, I desperately needed to channel the energy I had into an outlet that I felt was authentically me. I love people that protest and march. It just wasn't the fit for me. I needed to participate in a way that I felt improved the current and future situation. I thought long and hard about it, lots of running about it, thinking, and I decided that mentorship was what I wanted to do. It had had such a positive impact on me, and so that was the thing. I called my friend, he happens to be a principal at Easton High School, and I said, I'm starting a mentorship program. He said, slow your roll. You might want to plug into the Generation Next program that already exists. You don't need to start this from scratch. And so I looked into it. After connecting with Robin, I realized that it was an absolute perfect fit for me. It was a way for me to participate in a meaningful way. I was so grateful to Robin for that conversation. My excitement was probably overwhelming to her, but we had a great time talking about it. Decades of mentorship for me in the Lehigh Valley led to a really expansive network of connections. And so that weekend I sat down, I drafted an email and let everyone I knew, best and brightest, this is what I'm doing. After that, I met with my friend Rachel Griffith from the Apollo Grill, owner of the Apollo Grill. She happens to be one of the people in my network. Not only is she a badass businesswoman, but she also is a champion of the underserved in our community. This is a mission for her always. So when I told her about Generation Next and suggested that we start a scholarship fund, she could not have jumped on board faster. Literally, she was all about it. In the middle of a pandemic, as restaurants are trying to stay open, keep their people paid, she was focused on raising money for the Generation Next program. She trained her entire staff about Generation Next. They would talk to their tables as they came in. As Dawn mentioned, she gave proceeds of every Tuesday night for people that came in. But not only that, at every table and every check, you got information about donating to the scholarship. People would come in for dinner and leave writing checks for $5,000. It was amazing outpour from our community, and I couldn't be more proud and grateful to live here. I also want to thank, since that original conversation, the Apollo Grill has raised over $60,000 towards the scholarship fund, and we've also added over 20 mentors, which is exactly what this is all about. To me, though, all of that is just the icing on the cake. I am most grateful for the relationships that I get to have with the mentees. They've done a brilliant job, and they, meaning the Generation Next program, did a brilliant job matching me with mentees that not only feed me and feed my soul, but I get to help them. I am just beyond grateful to be able to help these dynamic, energetic, brilliant young ladies get to where they want to get. We talk about their hopes, their dreams, and then we work alongside each other to help them get to that next level. So I am grateful for them. Stephanie is one of my mentees, and she'll share a little bit about herself.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I go to Easton Area High School, and I'm a senior. I'm a part of the Generation Next program. Generation Next has opened multiple doors I know I would have never been able to access on my own. Being a first-generation child, I used to stress about the college process and school activities because I felt I was behind at times compared to my classmates. But after joining Generation Next, there has never been a day I walked into a classroom or logged onto Zoom where I felt neglected or misunderstood. With teachers like Robin, Dr. Riskira, and Hassana, they have always been there for me and made sure I felt appreciated and included. I am beyond grateful to have been selected for this program, and I honestly couldn't imagine what I would do without it. They have helped me tremendously with my college process and provided me with multiple resources I can use in the future. I'm so thankful to have had this program available for kids like me, and I can speak for all of us that it has changed our lives in the best way possible. So thank you.
Thank you both. And new to the program as a pilot extension to Generation Next, a kind donor has recently contributed $25,000 to support trade school scholarship support to the program as well. So we're looking forward to integrating that portion into the program this year. Our community development programs of Allentown, Bethlehem, and the Slate Belt rely on supporters of our neighborhood partnership programs in order to actively support neighborhood revitalization and to strengthen the neighborhood economy. Supporters like all those you see behind me, ooh, it worked, help our NPPs foster vibrant, sustainable neighborhoods. Our award-winning Slate Belt Rising NPP is just one of our community development programs doing really great things in the region.
Hello everyone, my name is Stephen Ryder and I am the Director of Slate Belt Rising. I would like to start off by thanking all our program volunteers, funders, and staff at Community Action Lehigh Valley for another successful year. As we started the 5th year of our program, we faced many unknowns as we continued to feel the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, such as the rising costs in construction materials, increased or decreased grant funding opportunities, and whether we would be able to implement the projects that we had planned. Fortunately, our program has persevered and continues to have a positive impact in the Slate Belt. Let's hear from some of the people that we have helped and worked together with over the past year.
My name is Caitlin Wilson. I am a graduate of Penargil High School and the recipient of a 2021 Slate Belt Rising Scholarship. The Slate Belt Rising Scholarship Program has helped me defray the costs of continuing my education, and I am currently attending Northampton Community College, pursuing a degree in media production.
I'm the owner of Platinum Cuts in Bangor. Slate Belt Rising has continued to be a positive impact in our community. This year they helped me with a back-to-school event where we supplied school supplies, entertainment, and food to over 300 kids in our area. They also helped with a scholarship for one of my students to help continue their education in the barbering industry.
I'm a homeowner in Portland Borough, Pennsylvania. I'm thankful for Community Action Lehigh Valley, including Slate Belt Rising and the Home Repair Program because of various home improvement services that they offer to homeowners. My family and I were fortunate to be able to have facade and roof work done to our home through these programs that we would not have been able to afford on our own. These improvements have made our home safer and more comfortable for us to live in.
I am a local business owner and Bangor Borough resident. The Slate Belt Rising has created opportunities for local business owners as they continue to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. We have worked together to organize and host multiple vendor markets throughout the Slate Belt this summer and have helped over 60 small business owners gain exposure for their businesses.
I am the softball coordinator for the Green and White Youth Association. I am grateful for Slate Belt Rising's continued investment in youth programming and the assistance that they have provided to other organizations in the Slate Belt. This past year, the staff of Community Action Lehigh Valley and Slate Belt Rising worked together with the Green and White Youth Association to obtain a grant to replace the fence at the Green and White softball field. This project was desperately needed to provide for the safety of our softball players and our local youth.
As a program, Slate Belt Rising has leveraged and invested over $200,000 in the Slate Belt this past year alone, and over $1.3 million over the last 5 years across economic development, youth, community planning, and housing initiatives. As we move into our 6th year, our program will be focusing on economic development and small business initiatives that includes a commercial lease subsidy program, continued support of our scholarship program and regional marketing initiatives, and additional funding for facade and mural projects. For the most up-to-date program information and Slate Belt Rising happenings, visit slatebeltrising.org or visit our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for watching.
So although they did not want to get up and speak, Brian and Cindy Maureen are here with us today, and they, if you could stand up and just let us know they're from this Slate Belt. They wanted you to know that every day they wake up and they're so thankful for their home and the new roof, and they are happy to be here. So thank you guys for coming. So community partnerships are the glue that holds community action together. They are the key to our success. Some of you have helped local businesses by lending funds to the Rising Tide Community Loan Program. so that businesses that aren't quite bankable yet would be able to get off the ground. The rising tide has dispersed over $9.5 million to date to start up and establish small businesses in the region, helping to contribute to the local economy. Our alliances and partnerships with other organizations are what makes it all work. We collaborate because they can often do things we can't, and vice versa. So we work together. It is our partnerships with the cities and boroughs and large corporations that help fill the gaps in some of our programs. People begin to think of us when they need help with their projects. It's a win-win. Our Community Action Homes program, which saw some initial challenges, began to thrive with partnerships and help from folks like TD Bank, City Center Investment Corporation, Habitat for Humanity, St. Luke's, Northampton County, Lehigh County, the cities of Allentown and Bethlehem, and Wells Fargo. Whether it was funding or services, working together, we were able to revitalize blighted buildings, build new houses, and refresh facades on both businesses and homes in our neighborhoods. One of those recent collaborations was with City Center Investment Corporation. We're grateful for the ability to partner with them, and here to tell you more about that partnership is Jill Wheeler from City Center. Jill.
Thank you, Dawn, and everyone at Community Action Lehigh Valley for all of your help and due diligence with everything in all of our communities. Most people in the Lehigh Valley know City Center as the real estate development company building offices and apartments in downtown Allentown at lightning speed. Well, that is true. Our vision is really beyond that. Our vision is all about creating a vibrant, thriving community in downtown Allentown. And we know that involves so much more, as I say every day, than shiny new buildings. Some people that know me know that I'm a lifelong Lehigh Valleyan. I joke, I tried to escape, I'm still here. And one of the reasons that I personally decided to join City Center almost 5 years ago is because of the leadership and ownership of J.B. Riley. I'm lucky enough to work for the president and co-founder, J.B. Riley, who really, in his blood and his soul, it's all about giving back to the community. He established, and together we named, City Center's Building Community Initiative to use our company's resources to strengthen downtown Allentown and its surrounding neighborhoods, and to help all our neighbors thrive. Again, it's much more than the buildings. That's why City Center is a corporate partner with Central Elementary School. It's why we are heavily involved with United Way. It's why we are partners with Community Services for Children and created the Learning Hub and the neighborhood where the students live. In fact, in 2020, City Center donated more than $3.8 million to a total of about 75 organizations, bringing our 3-year total to more than 13 million donated. In addition, I know some people think we have maybe 100 employees. Our 25 employees volunteered at approximately 45 organizations, donating around 2,000 total hours each year. For us, it's much more than those buildings. It's much more about where all of us live. While City Center has supported CALV over the years, in 2021, we launched a new facade improvement grant program together that should make a big positive impact on Hamilton Street. Though this collaboration, we're helping property owners, through this collaboration, we're helping property owners on the 1000 block of Hamilton Street improve their building facades. CALV's experts, and when I say experts, when we say Peter Lunas is the mayor of facade grant, experts Peter Lunas and Chuck Weiss identified building owners to apply for the grant, which City Center funds, and then CACLV manages the facade improvements. They can include repairs and improvements to doors, windows, roofs, storefronts, fresh paint, power washing, new signage, awnings, or lighting. This year, we have 3 facade improvements in the works, which should all be completed by the end of the month. It's truly gratifying to assist these building owners because they truly desire to upgrade their property. There's nothing better than when people already live and work in a community and they want to improve it to be a part of it. Bring their buildings up to code, and in some cases, preserve the historic nature of the building. The grant recipients are based on merit, not financial need. So these owners have demonstrated sustainable business strategy and committed to maintain their facade improvements. Beyond improving the aesthetics of rundown buildings, we were talking about this at our table before, which we know can help market an individual business. This program is much more than that. It's about creating an attractive and safe street. It is proven that attractive and safe streets become a better place to live from a safety perspective and from a health perspective. It also is the softer. It encourages more visitors and investment along Hamilton. It increases the vitality, the overall economic vitality of downtown, and it enhances the gateway to downtown Allentown. This is just the beginning. We have at least 6 more facade improvements in the pipeline for next year. As we celebrate a spirit of gratitude today, on behalf of City Center team, we're truly thankful for being a part of the community action, for being great partners, and in helping us give back in such an impactful way. We can't wait to see what comes next. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. And while we know that Community Action does great things, we are not the only nonprofit with boots on the ground doing the hard, inspiring work. We are fortunate to work with partners like Promise Neighborhood and have collaborated with them on quite a few efforts this year. One of them was a wonderful collaboration with the Seed Farm that enabled families to grow their own fresh vegetables this past year. Take a look.
Welcome to the Seed Farm. Our mission is to cultivate the next generation of farmers. We provide training opportunities, access to land and equipment, and business startup assistance to emerging farmers on our 42-acre farm in Emmaus.
I wanted to, kind of learn how to grow my own food and live a little bit more sustainably, and also contribute to my community, be able to provide food. I was really eager to be able to work with the CALV Foundation and provide food to food deserts and help provide fresh, healthy produce. And so yeah, gardening is something that is a lot of hard work, but is super rewarding, and that I've really loved to get to learn more about.
Coming here has been great. Not just the practical help with the people who are here, but also I think I have 4 CSA customers that found out about me because they volunteer at the Seed Farm. So there's a lot of connections that the Seed Farm has that can help in all kinds of ways, whether you're selling stuff or you're learning stuff or whatever you're trying to do. There's a good community around it up here.
Something I've been really working towards in my career path is getting into land equity, which is who has access to land and why or how they have access to land. And I think something that the Seed Farm really does well as an incubator farm is it allows people that traditionally wouldn't have access to farming or resources in agriculture to connect with other people, have access to land to grow food and markets. And when I was growing up here, there wasn't a lot of space available to do things like this. A lot of land was kind of like locked up into like real estate, and it wasn't preserved, or if it was staying in like family and being inherited or traded through kitchen tables. So it's really great to see how this has flourished since I've left the Lehigh Valley and come back. And I really like being out in open spaces where community things can happen too. So not just like family farms, but people that are working together as a community.
So what we're doing here is we are bringing the community out into the country for a number of reasons, right? One, again, is to improve and enhance our connection and relationship with our food. Many of us live in food deserts, and we want to stop what's called food apartheid and focus on food justice, meaning making sure that people have access and opportunities to fresh, nutritious food. This place is phenomenal. The people here are phenomenal. The work is phenomenal. I would invite anyone that's interested to come up here for a tour and to partner with the folks here at the Seed Farm. They are exceptional. They're extremely welcoming. The work that's done here has been able to bring people together across difference and feed people all across our community.
A proud program of Community Action Lehigh Valley and Second Harvest Food Bank of the Lehigh Valley in Northeast PA. The Seed Farm is committed to providing nutritious food and working to attain food justice. We're growing new farmers, growing the local food economy in Lehigh Valley. Grow with us at the Seed Farm.
Please welcome Dr. Hassan Fox from Promise Neighborhoods of the Lehigh Valley and a whole bunch of other folks.
We love you, Dawn. So I got invited to speak, right? And one thing you'll learn about me is that I thought about how do I come up here and tell you guys about collaboration and about anti-poverty. And I said, you know what, let me show them. This is what anti-poverty looks like. This is what collaboration looks like. And this is what CALV understands. They understand that it's all about building capacity in the individuals that live within our communities and also within the organizations that live within our communities. I'm the executive director of the Promise Neighborhoods of the Lehigh Valley. We are a Black-led, grassroots, liberation-based organization. We are boots on the ground and in relationships with the people that you serve. And we've been able over the last year to do that in partnership with a couple programs we're going to talk about. My wife is here, so there's a couple things I have to do when my wife is here, right? I gotta wear a suit, and I have to act like I'm taking notes like I wrote my speech, right? So for those of you guys that have had like 10, 12-year-old boys when the shower's on and they're not really in the shower, that's what I'm doing when I look at these sticky notes right now. I'm acting like I'm broke. So Promised Land, what you've just seen, right? Promised Land is about how do we use the resources that exist in our community to bring the community to them. And Second Harvest reached out to us and they said, what does a partnership look like? How do we get you guys up? How do we increase diversity? And there's this tension or this fear from some folks in our community to be involved with the land, to return to our relationship with the land. But I went up there, where's Brad at, man? Brad is my dude. Do you mind standing up, Brad? So I'm from Brooklyn, originally, right? And Brad told me to drive a tractor. And he was patient with me, and we bonded and we built, and we were sensitive to the differences to make sure we didn't offend one another and to make sure that we were willing to work together. And Brad said to me, whatever it takes for you to be successful. Even when it was time to pay for the lot, Lindsay called me, she said, listen, we haven't received your check. And I said, oh, the way our account is set up, it's a 40, see, you guys don't know Kevin Hart, that was a Kevin Hart. I know I only got 5 minutes, I'm almost done. Lindsay said to me, whatever it takes to make this happen. Because we have a 45-day net, I can't just cut a check, right? But we were able to work together to have the youth from our community up there with the elders, with their hands in the dirt, with their hands in the soil, building and growing and building community. The reason we were able to do that, because CALV was patient, they believed in equity, and they believed that we brought value to the work that they were doing. And that's what partnership and collaboration is about. The other one I'll tell you about, so that's Promised Land, right? This is some of our food justice work. The other one is we're opening up, I can't call it a food pantry anymore, right? A food access and wellness center at Hayes Elementary School in partnership with CALV. 4 years ago when the school was being built, we got folks in the community to go out, canvass the neighborhood, do some surveying, lead some focus groups and ask people, what do you want in your school? And the answers were, we want a health clinic, we want adult learning, and we want food access, we want a food pantry. So when the school opened, they went to the big boys. They went to CALV and said, we want you guys to open a food pantry. And they said, no, we want to do this in partnership with the community. And they called us in because we had done the original work. And he said, this is what partnership looks like. And there's been a commitment. I haven't seen Nicole. So Nicole's not here, right? There's been a commitment from Nicole because I don't know anything about food pantries. So I'm looking at the application. I've got lots of questions. And Nicole tells me what? I need you guys to say it. Whatever it takes. Nicole says, whatever it takes to make this happen. So when we talk about anti-poverty, when we talk about collaboration and community partnerships, especially at the grassroots level, I want you to remember these faces, and I want you to remember the phrase, whatever it takes, and that's what CALV does. Thank you.
Wow, and that is what partnership is about. As Community Action was blessed with donations throughout the pandemic, we also knew the importance of sewing into others. Years ago, partners like Mike Gosling helped us to expand the capacity of our food bank so that we could offer more food and especially more fresh food to people across 6 counties. What a wonderful way to honor his late wife, Sharon, with what is now called Sharon's Pantry. In that same spirit of gratitude, we wanted to spread the wealth. So when we received a large, generous donation during COVID, we wanted to do something similar. Many pantries across our network needed more food, especially fresh food, but had no way to receive or keep it. So we purchased 100 coolers and freezers and gave them to dozens of pantries in our network, equipping them with the ability to receive and store more fresh and frozen product. Here to tell you how partnering together with Northampton County, Slate Belt Rising, and Second Harvest Food Bank benefited folks from his area is Mike Ortowski from Mission of Love Food Pantry. Mike.
Dawn, you didn't say I was going to follow Dr. Pop. What a story. And I have to get with you and introduce you to Pastor Frank of Mission of Love Food Bank. We would love to pick your brain about some ideas. Good morning. My name is Mike Ortowski. Thank you, Dawn, for the invitation to speak about the Slate Belt. I sit on one of the committees of CACLV, Slate Belt Rising, which is the economic development group of the Slate Belt. I grew up just 10 miles north of the Slate Belt in Saylorsburg and have been in this area all my life, except for 5 years in Florida when I went to University of South Florida. Go Bulls. My wife and I moved from Stroudsburg to Bangor in 2008 for the convenience of traveling to the Slate Belt every day for our business, the Blue Valley Times. In 2013, I was asked to join a program called Slate Belt Community Partnership. I was chair for 2 years, and that program evolved into Slate Belt Rising under the umbrella of CALV. Joining the CALV gave us a new commitment, Slate Belt Rising, funding opportunities we could never secure on our own. Alvin Jennings, he was amazing. He actually got Governor Wolf to change the Neighborhood Partnership Program guidelines for the state of Pennsylvania to allow Slate Belt Rising to have multiple boroughs, Wind Gap, Penargil, Bangor, and Portland, operated as one entity. Who does that? It's only Alvin. He said, he told Governor Wolf, collaboration will make the program successful and stronger, and it did. In the spirit of gratitude, Slate Belt Rising would not be what it is today without CALV. Now I want to share a few words about another nonprofit dear to my heart. Mission of Love Food Bank, run by my good friend Pastor Frank Hans. I've known him for 15 years and have been working there as a volunteer grant writer, public relations person for his ministry, for his food ministry. It all started in the basement of his church in Penargil, feeding 35 families a week. Then after 2 relocations and help with Merchants Bank and the Lord, as Pastor Frank would say, he was able to purchase a building in Bangor Borough in 2014. Currently, the Mission of Love serves an average of 150 families every Tuesday in a span of 2 hours. But that's nothing. That's just a small part of the food ministry. The food bank has been and will continue to share with other food banks in the Slate Belt what they receive from 4 vendors: Second Harvest, Trader Joe's, Giant Foods, and Weiss Markets. But as you grow, so do your needs to operate. So that's where we needed help. Here are just a few of the much needed items we received in the past 4 years. A $15,000 8x10 indoor refrigeration unit from Second Harvest. Thanks to everybody down there. We desperately need that. We could not take produce. We had no refrigeration. We got a $3,000 8x40 foot freezer from the, we got that from Slate Belt Rising. Thank you, Steve Ryder. We got a $50,000 box truck from Northampton County. We were renting one for $350 a week for years. I'm not going to read down everything here, but one of the other big ones is we got, just to show you that the community is behind us, not just CALV, but the community is behind us. We got a $15,000 additional 8x40 foot freezer from Waste Management. And still we need more. So in closing, currently I've submitted plans to the Bangor Borough for a 40x60 foot pole building. Proposed that will house 2 10x12 refrigeration units, both which can be utilized independently as freezers or refrigeration, and pallet racks that will store over 150 pallets of food. Northampton County, CALV are working hard to help Mission of Love in securing a $250,000 grant needed to make this happen. If everything goes as planned, we'll break ground next month. Without collaboration, none of this works. Nothing. Pastor Frank is so grateful that Northampton County, CALV are working together to help him in the Slate Belt community through his food ministry. Pastor Frank and I would like to say thank you to Dawn Gutschek and our team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Our next and final guest is someone whom I've known for many years. She and her son lived at Turner Street Apartments, one of our transitional housing units of the 6th Street Shelter. When I took over as shelter director back in 2014 is when I first met her. To say that I am proud of her would be an understatement. She is determined, hardworking, a wonderful mother, a beautiful person inside and out, and she's actually winning an award this evening from our National Community Action Agency. So here to tell you her own story of gratitude is Jacqueline Rodriguez.
Good afternoon. My name is Jacqueline Rodriguez, and I am a mother of 2 boys. And I am an example of what your donations do, the hard work and your commitment to make a difference to a situation that often goes overlooked and deemed not my problem. I became homeless in 2011, February 24th, 2011. Due to medical reasons, I lost my job, I lost my car. I was always taught to work, never to look for public assistance. But I was in a situation where I needed to keep my son with me and a roof over my head. That's where I met my pastor, Pastor Reverend Edwin Rosa. I stayed there with him for over a year, and it was there that I learned that a spirit of gratitude will open doors for you. It is an opportunity for you to grow and learn, but with that spirit of gratitude comes being humble and being able to admit your failures, your mistakes, and reinvent yourself. I came to the 6th Street Shelters Turner Street program in April of 2012. There, I met Dawn, I met Miss Robbie, and I met the director of the Turner Street program, Christine. With the help of the 6th Street Shelter, I overcame many obstacles. You see, because when I was a child, I was told that I would not be able to go to college because I was deemed unteachable. I was in special education. I was also told I probably wouldn't graduate high school. I became homeless at the age of 16 when my parents came and separated because they did not want to deal with children. They were too busy arguing. But at the 6th Street Shelter, I had the opportunity to go to school, so when I arrived at the Turner Street program, I was already enrolled at Lehigh Carbon Community College, trying to obtain an associate's degree in health information technology. The 6th Street Shelter was my foundation, my stepping stone to where I am today and who I am today. And to them, I will always be grateful. My son and I made some long-lasting relationships and friendships there. We formed a unity and a family, and we learned to help each other out and help each other grow. And for that, I am also grateful. I left the 6th Street Shelter in August of 2014 because I had earned a Section 8 voucher, but I knew that I did not want to live off of the Section 8 voucher for a very long time. So once again, I put my faith in the system and I did some research. And through my Section 8 counselor, Jean Vahanovich, she enrolled me in the Family Self-Sufficient Program, which is a first-time home buyers program for Section 8. When I met with Brendan Stroll, the director of the program, I told him I have one objective. I want to get my bachelor's degree. I want to prove to my son that it doesn't matter your age, your disability, your race, your color, or where you come from, you can do it. And I did. The program was a 5-year program. The program was a 5-year program. During that time, Section 8 would put away funds in an escrow account that would help me purchase my first home. It was 5 years. I told them I needed to do it in less, and I did. I did it in 3 years. I graduated with a bachelor's degree. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in healthcare administration. During my time, I did it online. Let me tell you that going to school online is not easy. I had weekly reports and essays to do, bibliographies and reference pages to do, and it is hard work, but it was well worth it. During my second year of college, I received a letter from the Dean of Admissions of Grand Canyon Christian University that I had made it on the Dean's list for being someone that had a special education disability and made it on their Dean's list. I had, by the grace of God and my spirit of gratitude that I am grateful for that I learned, maintained my GPA to graduate with that same GPA 3 years later. I maintained that GPA. Hard work does, and I'm speaking to the young people there. It works. Make a difference. Write down your goals. Keep them together, because your ability to succeed depends on your determination and your commitment and your spirit of gratitude to reach your goals. You can do it, and you can make a difference. Allow me to tell you that I am the first generation college graduate in my family out of 5 siblings. When I purchased my first home of August 20th of this year, I had heard words from my father that I never thought I would hear. I am proud of you. You did it, and you can do anything. And to my children, I tell them the same thing. There is nothing that you can't do as long as you keep the spirit of gratitude and remain humble. So I stand here before you all today to say thank you for your donations, for your hard work, and your commitment, because you are making a very big difference, especially to a lot of families struggling. To anyone that knows anyone struggling, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to say, I can't do it. Don't be afraid to say, I didn't do it, but you can. Because failure is an option. It should not be your last resort. Failure is just a word that was created to make you feel that you can't do it. You only fail if you stop trying. In closing, Ms. Robbie and Ms. Dawn, thank you very much. Because of you, I am an example of what the 6th Street Shelter does. I now know that I am determined, independent, and able to do anything that I want. So give yourselves a round of applause because I am the fruit of your labor. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. We are so very proud of you. Now we're going to play a voicemail message for you that was left on the phone of one of our weatherization staff members. It's great when we get these, and we don't often get to share them.
Hi, Dahlia. This is Francisco. I'm just calling you to update you on my refrigerator issue. It came on Friday. Everything is good now, and I just wanted to call to thank you. Sorry it took a few days to call. I just was very busy with a lot of things and didn't get a chance to. But I just wanted to call to say thank you again for everything that you do. Really, you really are a lifesaver, and this whole program is a lifesaver. And I hope, sometimes I'm lost for words, but me and my mom just wanted to really, really thank you for everything that you do. Sometimes words can't even express my gratitude towards you. And everything that this company does for everybody, I really wish I could just give you a big hug. But thanks again for everything. You don't have to come back if you don't want to. I just wanted to tell you thank you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart so much. Thank you. Have a good day. Be safe. Bye.
So, before I start with my final remarks, most of you who know me know that I don't cuss, I don't use bad language, but one of the things that I'm extremely grateful for is that our CFO, Bethany DiMatteo, is here and she's kicking the hell out of cancer. And we thank you. So please know that our work is not done. We still need your help in order to fulfill the terms of our new tagline, Fighting for Good. As we ramp up our Generation Next program and trade school pilot, we must fight for education to be low cost or even free. Our kids shouldn't be in debt decades after graduation, or they end up right back in a cycle of poverty. The only way to end poverty is to help poor families to build wealth. The only way to do that is to help them to learn how to buy homes and to start businesses. We need to continue those efforts. People shouldn't have to choose between food and paying a bill or buying their medication. Food should be a human right. Our homeless shelters should not be full. America has both an implicit and explicit social contract to provide adequate housing for its entire population. Affordable housing shouldn't be an abstract dream. It should be a reality for all. We must continue to have conversations about race and to fight racism. It has no place in this world. But there is so much that people don't understand about one another. We must be able to bring all sides into the conversation. We have to be willing to talk and to listen and to try to understand one another. Our Color Outside the Lines initiative is set to launch next month in December. I hope you'll sign up to be a part of it. Racism must end now. Let's keep our kids safe. Join me in building a youth center in Allentown where kids can learn, have fun, stay far away from drugs and alcohol, and be kids as long as they can. Yes, there are nonprofits out there that have pieces of what we want to do, but this would be a one-stop shop for children to come in, sign in, and be able to utilize turf fields for soccer and volleyball courts, a homework lounge and mentoring classrooms, which, by the way, they must do before they do the other stuff. recording studio for students to create and record their own music, trade workshops to introduce students to a variety of vocational trades, theater space to engage students in theatrical productions, studio space for art, dance that includes ballet, jazz, and hip hop, a video and a multimedia lab, lounge, game, and a snack area, expansive community space with satellite offices for other nonprofits and agencies to meet, and a place for parents to sit and read, to wait for their children. You know, sometimes parents need a place to go to, just to sit and have some peace. Most kids get in trouble between the hours of 3 and 6 p.m. while parents are still at work. When I worked at ABC News, I saw tragic stories of kids who were murdered, trafficked, molested, and arrested. I have seen the bodies of children that I cannot unsee. Whether you have children or not, you were once a child, and it is the duty of all of us to protect them. Please call me to find out more about how you can help. And let me tell you something. Every single person here today has something to be grateful for. For me, I am grateful that God could use a child from humble beginnings who grew up in foster care, but who grow up to help other children. I am humbled that someone like me, who was once in jeopardy of losing my own home, could grow up to help people to save theirs and purchase homes. I am grateful that someone who was once poor could one day grow up to provide food for so many. I'm thankful that someone who was once called the N-word could grow up to work for an organization that helps to fight racism. Amen. And I am thankful that enough loving and wonderful people poured into my life so much that I want to pour back into the lives of others, especially children who have been hurt and abused. We are never blessed to keep it to ourselves. Each and every one of us has been blessed in order that we might be a blessing to others, to give back, to share what we have, to pour into others, to sow seeds, and in return, you will reap a harvest. So I'd like to ask you to do something for me as we end our time together. I'd like to ask you to stand if you have contributed to community action in one of these categories. Please stand if you are a current or former board member or committee or advisory member. Please stand if you are a current or former community action staff, including vendor, contractor, or subcontractor. And stay standing, please, everyone. Please stand if you are one of our volunteers. Please stand if you are one of our community partners, including politicians who have supported us or folks who have advocated on our behalf. Please stand if you are a benefactor or someone who has received services from us in some way. Please stand if you are a donor, individual or corporate, an event sponsor, or investor for one of our programs. Please stand if you are a member of our family or one of our friends. And if there is anyone who is still sitting down, please get involved in some way. We need you. Thank you for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day.